So it's now my pleasure to take a minute and recognize someone who's meant so much to this community for over 40 years, and that's Tom Condon. And I think of the topic today on an issue of how hunger and housing impact economic development. There is a tie to what Tom has written about on so many occasions to challenge all of us to look at what we can do to make this region better on a whole bunch of fronts, whether that be in more regional cooperation and trying to make sure that the monies that are used for municipal services are targeted better, an advocate for more open and transparent government at all levels, and a fierce advocate for organizations that provide services that are so critical to all of our residents, but particularly those who are in need at a given moment. He's been deputy editorial page editor, a columnist, and the chief editorial writer for the Courant. He's a New London native, a graduate of Notre Dame, and served with the U.S. Army intelligence operations in Vietnam during '69 and '70. Since he joined the Courant, he's held a wide variety of reporting and editing positions, been recognized by numerous journalism and with numerous journalism and community awards, including the New England Society of Newspaper Editors Master Reporter Award, among others. He's been a co-author with his wife on a number of books, but most importantly, he's been a friend to all of us in this room, and to so many others who've worked and resided in this region over the past 40 years. So with that, Tom, if you could just come up here for a minute, I'd like to present this to you personally. He moves his... If you'd only known you had this many friends, you wouldn't have stepped down. On behalf of the board of directors of the MetroHartford Alliance and all of us who work there, it's my pleasure to present this Rising Star Award to Tom Condon in recognition of 40 years of journalistic integrity that has challenged, inspired, and motivated business, civic, and political leaders to drive improvements that benefit all residents. Presented today, March 2nd, 2016. Tom, congratulations.
Thank you. God, thank you so much. I'm not sure that Rising Star is exactly appropriate in my case, but it is nice to think so. I'm really lucky to have had such a long run at the Courant. I'm just hooked in by Hartford and so many fabulous stories in this wacky town. But two quick reflections about my career. One, the technology changed beyond all imagination, but the people did not. When I came along, it was the end of the Industrial Revolution. I mean, the paper was produced with heavy machinery, linotype, stereotype. There was the clickety cacophony of typewriters and teletypes. By 4 in the afternoon, a purplish gray cloud of cigarette smoke hung over the newsroom. Well, the era of pneumatic tubes and X-Acto knives and lead type, kind of an ocean nightmare, will never come again in some respects, thankfully. But the people who worked with them are not dissimilar to their younger descendants of the digital era. The profession still draws people who are smart, curious, skeptical, funny, ADD afflicted. People who have to be journalists, and I mean, for all I know, they'll be doing it on a watch or a pair of glasses, but they will be doing journalism. My second point: one day in the early '90s, you may recall, City Hall was in some turmoil at the time, and the Courant was nailing one scandal after another. And a Hartford police officer called me and said, "I just want to tell you this: the Hartford Courant is saving this city." Now, may have been a slight exaggeration, but it stayed with me over the years because it makes the point that the Courant is important to this community. Now, things have changed. I mean, we may remember the time when the Courant was said to have 3 presses, 2 to print the paper and 1 to print the money. But Those days are over. Sadly, those days are over, but there are still people there putting out a very good product. It is important to this community. I hope you recognize that, and I hope you will continue to support it. Thank you.